All right, guys. So the other day, I was doom scrolling on YouTube once again. I know I need to get that under control. Stop doing that. But as I was doing that, I came across this video about this news organization talking about how there's a new flying car that's coming out, guys. It's going to launch before the end of 2025. Flying cars are finally here. They've been talking about it since the 1960s. The Jetsons cartoon was like, yeah, guys, flying cars, they're right around the corner. Looks like they're finally here. Or maybe not. We'll get into it. Now, as I was considering making a video about this flying car, we had some breaking developments, and just yesterday, you had a Weekly Dose of Internet. He put out a video, and he made it the headlining video, the thumbnail of his video, "We have flying cars now." So you can see Daily Dose is talking about it. Daily Dose says, "We have flying cars." And guys, I got to be honest with you. I don't think this is legitimate. I think this car company is a scam, right? If you don't know, if you're a Marvel superhero fan, there's Spider-Man. Spider-Man has something called his Spidey senses. He can detect danger around him. I have something similar. I have my Scotty senses. Other people might just call it common sense. I call it Scotty senses. And what I can do is I can detect when something appears to be a scam or if someone's a scammer. My Scotty senses start to tingle. And when I saw this video talking about how there's flying cars coming, they're right around the corner, yeah, my Scotty senses were definitely tingling, guys. So as I looked more into this, the fishier and fishier this story became. So we're going to break it all down. I'm going to give you my opinion. Again, this is just my opinion. I think this is a scam. You can see the facts I'm going to present in this video, and you can determine whether or not you think this flying car is actually a scam or not. So let's go ahead and break it down. So the initial clip of the flying car that went viral in the Daily Dose of Internet video actually comes from a segment done by NBC Nightly News a few days before that. In the full clip, we see the vehicle slowly lift off vertically, fly a few feet above another car, and then land shortly after on the other side. What was really interesting to me from the original clip is what the news reporter says about their access to the vehicle during filming.
But for all the magic of this moment, we were heavily restricted, forced to shoot at least half a football field away, and we never actually saw the driver entering or exiting the vehicle.
Forced to film far away and never saw a driver enter or exit the vehicle. Now, to me, those stipulations would be massive red flags that something isn't quite right and that this is just a publicity stunt to con a bunch of people into pre-orders, which they are now selling for $1,500 on their website. However, I guess that's not a concern for the mainstream media, as everyone from CNBC News to News Nation and everyone in between is now putting out puff pieces claiming that flying cars are finally here. While the initial video from NBC News doesn't really go into much detail about how the flying car operates, I was able to dig deeper into this project and uncover a lot more info that paints this car as much more of a vaporware product that I believe will go the way of the infamous Theranos and never actually have a fully functioning product. The company behind this car is Alef Aeronautics and have been trying to make this flying car a reality for over 10 years at this point. They don't have any streams of income and relied on angel investing to get their initial concept working. For the past few years, they have continued to invite news organizations to their California compound and talk about how their product is nearly ready for flight, all in the hopes to entice more people to sign up for their pre-orders, of which they now have 3,200. In a video they did with CNBC 10 months ago, we get a much better look at the car and see that 4 men can easily lift the vehicle to move it around. The average male can lift between 135 to 175 pounds, and it doesn't look like these guys are struggling to move this thing, so my guesstimate is that this thing can't possibly weigh more than 500 pounds total. We also get a closer look at the vehicle and see that the design isn't solid at all, and it's actually just 4 fans with vent coverings and otherwise is completely empty. In reality, it's just a drone with a car-shaped shell to make it appear that it's something that it's not. I'm in no way an expert on car safety standards, but I've seen plenty of crash test videos to know that this hollow design shell of a car would get flattened like a pancake if it ever got into even a minor accident, and based on that alone, there is zero chance this product would ever be given certification to operate as a car in any modern city. Believe it or not, things actually get worse for Alef Aeronautics once you see who is actually behind the company and what he's claiming the vehicle will be able to do. We'll dig into that right after a word from today's sponsor. When it comes to searching for a new job or hiring a new candidate for your business, it can be a long and frustrating process. Fortunately, today's sponsor ZipRecruiter can make that process much easier. They make it incredibly simple for those looking to hire to post their job within minutes, and then we'll send out the listing to ZipRecruiter's network of millions of job seekers. On top of that, ZipRecruiter has fantastic matching technology that can scan thousands of resumes to quickly identify the best matches for your job, and then we'll even invite them to apply for the listing so you can get quality candidates right away. Once candidates apply to your position, ZipRecruiter has an easy-to-use dashboard that helps you sort, review, and rate candidates. The system learns from your feedback and uses this to help find more candidates you like. Over 4.3 million businesses have used ZipRecruiter for their hiring needs already, and every day the company helps 10 million job seekers with their searches. ZipRecruiter has become so efficient at matching job seekers to employers that they know that 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter will get a qualified candidate within the very first day. If you would like to try ZipRecruiter for free, go to ziprecruiter.com/Scott Schaefer, or you can scan the QR code or click on the link below. Thanks again to ZipRecruiter for sponsoring this video. As we dig into the puff piece video put out by CNBC, the reporter mentions visiting their testing facility, which they show on camera, and we can see the design on the building is named Draper Hero Institute. This company is a research facility created by Timothy Draper to fund tech startups with innovative ideas. Jim Duchovny is the founder of Alef Aeronautics, and he was able to convince Tim Draper to fund the majority of the early expenses to get this crazy idea launched. If you're unfamiliar with Tim Draper, he's a venture capitalist that invests in a lot of early startups like Tesla, Robinhood, and was one of the first investors in the fraudulent company Theranos, whose CEO Elizabeth Holmes is now in prison. Now, the CEO of Alef Aeronautics, to me, gives off very shifty vibes and seems to be very dodgy as to any details related to his flying car. Of the dozen or so different news interviews he's done, and many car shows he's gone to, I've never once seen the cockpit of the car opened or shown anything inside the vehicle, or even seen a pilot actually operate it. When asked why this was, the CEO's answer is that they have intellectual property that they need to protect.
You wouldn't let me in the cockpit yet.
There's a difference between you and the consumers. We still have some IP, intellectual property, which we're trying to protect.
The CEO has said they have a late 2025 launch day for pre-orders, with final price being $300,000. And if that's the case, it's about time they start showing the inside of the vehicle if it's truly months away from launch. Jim, the CEO, also seems to masterfully underestimate just how hard it is to create a product like this. He initially believed it would only take 6 months to make a working product, but it ended up taking his team 10 years to complete. So I'm not expecting that 2025 launch day to actually come true.
Did you expect this to take so long?
When we first met in a coffee shop in Palo Alto, I drew something on a napkin and I asked, how long is it going to take to build this one, big one, and everything in 2015? They said half a year.
Half a year turned into 8 years.
We're still building.
The more I look into the CEO of this company, the more he comes across like the male version of Elizabeth Holmes to me. He doesn't seem to know anything related to regulations around getting this vehicle certified and just wants to fund money into a project that I don't think will ever go anywhere. In an interview he did with News Nation, when asked if you would need a pilot's license to operate this vehicle, his answer was that he had no idea.
Very last question, will you need a pilot's license for this? Just a regular driver's license? How does that work?
The short answer is we don't know. Probably you will not, because if you can tell, and not a lot of people can, between the right, left, up, and down, you should be good.
Okay, Jim Duchovny.
Alef has shown the hover feature of the car, where it can move back and forth in the air slowly, but what they haven't yet shown is the second mode of the car, known as airplane mode. In CGI renderings, they show the car tilting on its side and flying at great speed through a valley. They say that this will be the true flight mode if you want to take the car long distances. Flying an aircraft is one of the most regulated forms of transportation in the world. It takes 1,500 hours of flight time before a pilot can get certified to fly commercially in the US, and the geniuses behind this flying car company don't know if you will need a pilot license to fly this death trap through the air sideways at high speeds. Even if miraculously this ever gets operational, the general public should not have access to this haywire idea. Every day I wake up and see multiple accidents reported on the local freeways with people using cars firmly on the ground. Giving access to flying cars to the general public would turn into an apocalyptic event, with debris constantly falling from the skies with mid-air collisions and improper use of the vehicles. People regularly get DUIs driving around in normal cars, and the eventual rich boy getting into one of these and flying around drunk is not something I'm looking forward to experiencing. This seems to be a common thought among most people, as every video you can find on this project is filled with people saying what a bad idea this is. This will be another Theranos. That looks like a drone covered by some plastic toy car. Something I always remind people, we don't need flying cars, people already don't know how to drive. Imagine a drunk person flying through your apartment at 3 a.m. Why do the wheels look like they come from a bicycle? 3K people have pre-ordered a 300K giant plastic drone. Whoa, and I thought I was dumb. Now, if you're wondering what type of person would be foolish enough to order this vaporware, the answer is a YouTube fake guru. Ricky Gutierrez, who had the honor of being the second ever fake guru exposed by CoffeeZilla way back in 2019, put out a video last year titled, FAA approved, I bought a flying car, Alef Aeronautics. The FAA has not approved this vehicle for use for the public, and it seems to only have testing approval in limited capacity for the company to try out the design. Ricky put down a deposit for this vehicle and spends the entire video explaining how awesome this flying car is, despite knowing next to nothing about it. His own comment section is filled with his own subscribers telling him what a bad idea this is. As I said before, I don't see this flying car ever getting approval to operate on the roads, nor do I see people being able to fly around at high speed sideways through the air like they claim you will be able to do. I think if we ever get to the point where we have flying cars, it will have to be at a point where automation and AI can control the vehicles, because everyday people, in my opinion, should not be operating flying cars. But let me know in the comments below if you disagree and think this car will hit the market in 2025, as they claim it will.